Hey, good morning, everybody. Uh, just before we start, if you don't mind, just put in a chat box your location if you haven't done that already. It's good for us to track um, where we have our audience from. My name is Michael Janowik, and I am Data Science Interest Group Chair, and I'll be your host for this conference. So, um, I would like to welcome you to ASQ Statistic Division and ASQ Canada Conference. It is truly fantastic to see so many passionate quality professionals joining us today as we explore the future of quality for together. This conference is brought to you by Data Science Interest Group, which started over 3 years ago with a bold mission to empower quality professionals like you with the skills and competencies needed to bridge the gap to quality for. Over these 3 years, data science has been at forefront of connecting the dots between traditional quality principles and existing data-driven future that waits for us. We are meeting every 2 weeks. Participation is free. The only requisite is that you're part of the statistic division, and joining statistic division is free. Today, we'll have three speakers from our group. First one is Milt Krivokucha, and he's a SQ fellow, and he'll be talking about critical quality for components of digital transformation, followed by Dr. Stephen Cotter. He's going to talk about failure analysis of Boeing 737 MAX crashes and grounding, and link that with digital transformation. And at the end, I'll be presenting Navigator Chart Your Personal Digital Transformation Journey. I'll be talking about my experience over the last 3 years and how I build my digital transformation journey and present a model which you can use. So this is our program for today. We're going to have from 10 to 11 Milt talking about critical quality components of digital transformation, followed by Stephen from 11 to 12 and 12 to 1. I will kindly ask you to put in chat box any questions that you have. And at the end of each presentation, we'll be answering any questions that you may have. Okay, and now without further ado, I would ask Milt to take over with his presentation.
Okay, thanks, Mike. Let me get my screen share up here. Okay, my presentation's on the screen. Okay, Mike, my sound is coming through.
All good.
Okay, all good. Thank you. All right, hey, good morning, everyone. It's great to be here. I'm happy to make this presentation. As Mike explained to you, that this is the result of us meeting together with a data science group, discussion group, and we've been doing that for a couple years, where we get together twice a month, and we're primarily all educators and individuals with a lot of experience and passion for quality. We're not consultants, and we're not making commercial presentations. This is strictly objective and from the educational perspective, although it's not designed to be a classroom type setting, it's an informational setting. And I hope in my presentation that I can raise a lot of questions for you. Um, I'm going to skip over my biography here. It's published. I don't want to spend time on that. But I've been involved in quality now for over 30 years. And I really want to summarize where I am today with this Quality 4.0 and the background and foundation for my presentation. My research journey here on Quality 4.0 began, it's going to be the sixth year now, started in early 2020, the COVID lockdown. Prior to that, I was traveling quite a bit, teaching quality classes in the Middle East. But when that all came to a sudden halt. I wanted to keep myself busy and active, so I started reviewing where quality was going, what we're going to be doing in the future. And at the time, both Mike and I were involved with the ASQ. They had a Quality 4.0 technical committee that was working on developing a plan and the body of knowledge. And then all of a sudden, it was terminated. Okay, well, we weren't really given any formal notice, but ASQ kind of abandoned their Quality 4.0 approach and put their focus on innovation and creativity and encompass Quality 4.0 in that body of knowledge. So Mike and I, along with the others, we kind of broke away and we continued our journey and we focused on the data science portion of it. Since that time, I've done a lot of reading. I only work part-time and I'm on the mailing list of ASQ and Quality Digest, Quality Magazine, and numerous companies that are suppliers for primarily software programs and quality. And I get invitations frequently to attend webinars. I accept them all. It doesn't say I can attend them all depending on my schedule, but I sign up for like maybe 8 to 10 webinars a week. And I get to about half of them or so. A lot of them are focused on Quality 4.0, but many of them are software presentations, software promotions, and they end up the last third of the presentation and make it very commercial. They lay an objective groundwork for the aspects of data science and the digital transformation and implementing a data management system with your quality system, but it always ends up being very commercial at the end. So I first prepared this presentation in 2022. I delivered it to a couple of ASQ sections. And since that time, I don't know, some of you might have attended some of my previous presentations. I delivered it again a half dozen times in 2023, and I delivered it 6 times in 2024. But every time I deliver it, it's updated. This topic's evolving so fastly, so quickly, so rapidly that it's thought-provoking. I'm hoping to get you thinking toward a digital transformation, where your company is, where your personal goals are, what your approaches are. And I plan on continuing my research and updating it on a regular basis. So that's my background and introduction here. I'm going to start with just a little bit of a review, a reminder of the dimensions of Quality 4.0. These haven't changed. They've been around since I started my journey 6 years ago. The dimensions include a technical perspective, the social, the personal, and managerial. The technical one continues to evolve. The social one required many changes when we started addressing Quality 4.0 from the traditional social approaches of Quality 3.0. But those have been pretty stable. It still involves people, and it still involves some control. This has to be done in a structured manner. It can't be done haphazardly. And interestingly enough, a quality management system includes all of these aspects in it already. In our quality management system, it's been around for the last major revision to it was when we evolved into quality as organizational excellence. That occurred in around 2006 or so, in that time frame. And it really, other than a little bit of tweaking it here and there, and is mostly assessing risk, it really hasn't changed, but it's still applicable. Digital maturity. Now, this is a mysterious area. What is digital maturity? Well, it refers to an organization's ability to quickly respond to the developments and shifting trends of technology. It requires some investment in tools and human resources that can best leverage new technology. But you have to be working to a goal, an objective. For every organization, the digital maturity is different. It depends on your customers, your products, your markets, and the resources you have available. You know, all of this takes some time and money, and many companies just don't have any abundance of resources to make this happen, but they still should be establishing a goal so we know when we achieve it. By the way, That's also a concept in a quality management system that these things happen and it's done in a structured, informal approach. The technology, this Venn diagram, notice there's business intelligence, programming skills, math and statistics knowledge, and they all intersect in an area we call data science. Well, that's the focus of my presentation and the focus of this mini conference that we're providing to you for these 3 hours. We're looking at it from the data science approach. And these subsets, machine learning, data analytics, and data engineering, those areas are growing and becoming more complex. We still need the basic math and statistics knowledge, business intelligence, and programming skills. There's nothing that brings these all together. They just say that they have to overlap in the center. Well, that's what quality as organizational excellence was originally designed to do. It was to integrate all these areas and get them so they're aligned and they interact, cross-functional approaches, there's no silos, and that they maintain their focus, that each of these functional areas keep focused on the overall goal and objective, the strategic plan of the organization. That's what quality was designed to do, is organizational excellence. So transforming the culture of an organization, it's going to take some change. As technology and data science advances, people are going to have to do things differently. And we're still going to require people. The digital transformation requires technology to develop a deeper understanding of the business. All right, there's anyone that's been involved in a root cause analysis, you see the traditional diagram or slide or picture in a book where they shows an iceberg and the problems are only visible that typically get addressed are the areas above the surface of the water, where the iceberg has quite a bit below the surface that contribute to it. And that's what digital transformation, the technology looks deeper into the understanding of what's below the surface, that it's not really visible. It's going to require some change to the way businesses work, and it's taking place. Any company that's been in business longer than, say, 5 years has changed. If they didn't change, they were out of business. All right, they had to change their model because COVID required rapid changes to adapt the way businesses conduct their sales and market to people and satisfy their customers. And organizations have been in and out of work from home and different models for getting the work done. And we still haven't settled down from that. There's still changes taking place. And don't forget that the people are still required, but they have to interact more with technology now than ever before. The people-technology interactions are a critical part of a digital transformation, and especially applying data science effectively. So I'll summarize the lessons learned that I've come up with so far, and we've discussed them in our discussion group. I've found these also documented in some of the latest data analytics, data processing, data science publications that have been copyrighted in 2023 and 24. And by the way, there haven't been many. There's not a lot of extensive published literature. Quite a bit of it's popping up on web pages, but I've found very few purely peer-reviewed and academic white papers on the web pages I've researched. Most of them are posted by, again, these software companies, and what they have to say is valid, but they still have that commercial approach to them. So the lessons learned are, if you're going to engage in a digital transformation, approach it with a clear vision. Okay, why are we doing this? And how do we know when we're successful? And what benefits are going to be to our organization? Some guidance that we're open to this. And ignore the pressures to catch up. All right, every company is different, and no two are the same. And we learned that in quality management systems. They provide a best practices, a guide. ISO is designed to do that. But it gives you the flexibility to tell them what you do that aligns and supports these best practices. And that's what companies should be doing instead of trying to catch up and establish their own pace. Well, what can they really achieve and accomplish in that level of, in that amount of time? Uh, don't rush in without establishing resources and talent and buy-in. All right, don't go out and have management look at a quality management system software program or a subset that's associated with root cause analysis or a marketing subset or a data analytics subset and buy it without getting the buy-in from the people that are going to have to use it and knowing that you have the talent in the organization to take advantage of it. And keep in mind that what most of the jobs out there today are highly transactional. There's not a lot of change involved. And when you're doing something transactionally, they can be automated. That's the transformational parts, the change, the implementing, identifying improvement opportunities. That's transformational. So when artificial intelligence, AI is being implemented, robotics, machine learning, management should take this into consideration. Are we purely transactional? Because when we automate, we're going to be transactional. It's not going to change until we update that software program or we advance and extend the capabilities of the artificial intelligence. And it is always advancing. So the quality people are skilled in asking these questions objectively. All right, we're not critical, we're not criticizing, but we want to evoke the thoughts. Are we ready to go purely transactional and lock in where we are now and have it done by robotics? How does this happen? It takes a highly skilled person. A highly skilled person. These are some pretty challenging attributes that you need in a person. So, who is this key individual? Are they a superhero that comes in and they can make things done, get things done? They can just muscle their way through it and implement it and force change upon, make the changes and the implementation? Or do we need a wizard? Someone who has some magic skills, can raise wave their magic wand and use potions or whatever. I don't know. All right, it kind of depends on the situation. I don't think either one of them, purely being a superhero or a wizard, is going to be successful. So this digital talent, it's defined that it comes in the form of a data scientist. Data scientists are in high demand. It's a skill set that's advancing rapidly. And the data scientist is tasked with, and this is the textbook application right now, they define a vision, identity, and future skill requirements. That's where that wizard part comes in. They've got to be able to recognize the trends, what's taking place, and where we're going to be in a year or 2 years from now. Then understanding the skills gap. Okay, that's a little more in practicality, assessing the skills that the employees have, the resources and the machine tools, the ancillary equipment that we need to get the job done that's existing, and then bridging the skills gap. That bridging the skills gap might take those superheroes to kind of muscle their way through and develop training programs, develop on-the-job training, preparation courses, modify their hiring techniques or whatever. Sometimes it takes some pressure to make that happen. And then constantly evaluate progress. Remember, it's always changing. All right? We have to, like we say in quality, it's a race without a finish line, because the finish line is always changing. And we have to be available to recognize that and make that happen. So that's quite challenging for a successful data scientist. And in the published literature, okay, for this research here, I have a couple of books I just obtained through Amazon. They were copyrighted in 2023 and 2024. I'm comparing notes. They were peer reviewed, by the way. They weren't self published. They went through a major publishing house, and major publishing houses require peer review for approval of the information. I have some books here that were self published by people. They're knowledgeable subject matter experts, proven background, but the content was not peer reviewed. So I always read those with a little skepticism. So a typical data scientist there is no typical data scientist. They have unique and diverse backgrounds. It depends on the industry, the maturity of the company's quality management system, the maturity of their journey in a digital transformation. And they must operate in that interdisciplinary system. All right, that's that cross-functional system. They can't be purely computer programmers or software engineers. That's their only background, and many companies make that mistake. And they also emphasize there's no right or wrong way to articulate a process. All right, you have to assess the process and implement the one that's most applicable, the one that satisfies the situation. And the most important process is having a process. Well, those last 2 points that are emphasized, and I mean they go to extensive measures in the text that I've reviewed to emphasize the importance of those two. Well, that's what quality management systems are all about. Facts, gathering facts objectively, consistently, in order to analyze them and make a good decision. That's the process, all right? And what was worked today might not work tomorrow, or knowing that we've got new customers coming in or new competition, what we need to do in the future. And we as quality professionals, we're process experts. We know the process better than anyone else in the company, anyone else in the organization, because that's what quality is all about, processes and process improvement. And so again, I'm building a case, and I don't know why quality doesn't get mentioned more frequently than it does in these books related to data science and data analytics and data scientists' applications. They're spending time in these chapters providing guidance on how to develop this from a very, very fundamental perspective. We as quality professionals have developed this far more in depth and detail than the guidance they're giving to develop a data scientist. So now I'm kind of wondering, what really is data science? All right, I need a good working definition, as we know, when we're going to research something and especially engage in quality improvement. So I came up with this definition, again, out of one of the peer-reviewed books that I've read. And data science is an interdisciplinary area of practice and research involving scientific processes, advanced mathematics, computer programming, statistics, data mining, text processing, and then there's that other dreaded, other related notions. Well, I have problems with that. We need to be a little bit more prescriptive in what other related notions are, because if you don't, you can create a monster here. It can get out of control, and basically anything that someone else is not already doing, some manager is going to say, "Oh, that's part of data science. They should be doing it." So this is the definition, but I looked into other related notions, and as I said, I'm still in the process here, but I'm hoping to get support that these other related notions in data science include domain knowledge. This domain knowledge is a special form of knowledge. It's tacit knowledge. It has little to do with data science, but domain knowledge is the knowledge you learn on the job through the years of work in any field, that tribal knowledge. And in our quality body of knowledge, we emphasize the importance of capturing that in when we engage in a data process to data acquisition, to look at improving a process. We don't look for just hard facts. We have various quality tools, such as brainstorming and our fishbone diagrams, affinity diagrams, which are designed to capture this tacit knowledge. And then we have methods of converting it over to quantitative knowledge for decision making. These concepts, which I think are so critical to being a good data scientist, are not addressed in them. And the importance of this tacit knowledge is because we have to work with real world data. And this is a consensus among existing data scientists and the data science body of knowledge. The consensus is there's no shortage of data available for organizations to make decisions. The data is available, but we don't know what to do with it. Well, knowing how to use data, and that's that application of the real world data and the tacit knowledge of the processes of the company, it's a little bit of its history, how the work gets done, its internal culture, including that and addressing it in the Quality 4.0 body of knowledge, can provide guidance for the organization moving forward. And is it this way, was it that way, or is it another way? And it depends. And we need data to make decisions, and we need good data to make decisions. It's out there, but we as quality professionals know how to analyze it to make those decisions. I thought this was interesting after all those discussions about the importance of the real world data and the tacit knowledge. This was published here just in the last couple of months about the backgrounds of data scientists. There's no profiled background as a basis for becoming successful. Of the data scientists that took part in this survey, only 20% of them have more than 5 years experience. 33% have 3 to 5 years experience. Okay, so that's about half of them there, 3 to 5 years. 22% 2 to 3 years, 15% 1 to 2, and 8.5 less than 12 months. And I think all of you as being quality professionals know that it takes more than a year to become proficient with real world data, understanding the organization, understanding the culture of the organization. So the question is, yes, you hired a data scientist who has less than 2 years experience, and they have the ability to gain that tacit knowledge to advance to those areas, but can you afford the learning curve given the speed of business? I think data scientists now have to do their best to, as they say, hit the ground running, move into the position and be productive from day one. There's not time to go through a learning curve to come up to speed. So that's where I think quality comes in. Quality gets overlooked. And the major components in the QBOC are embedded in data science. And they're providing them, they're training data scientists at that level that's very fundamental. And we're advanced beyond that. We already have these skills. And the strengths of a good data scientist. Well, I put the graphic in here, ethics. Ethics is a major issue of data science and artificial intelligence right now. And it could have been the topic for my entire presentation. It could be the topic for this entire 3-hour conference, because ethics is becoming such a major issue now, and artificial intelligence and false news reporting and the credibility of the people that are handling and manipulating and sharing the data. So I'm going to stop it at that. But a good data scientist has strong listening skills. Also, very advanced problem-solving capabilities. A firm understanding of job-related skills, the tacit knowledge. Those 3 first bullet points are a mirror image of what a good quality professional is. They go on to say that, yes, they have to have a strong mathematical background, good math experience, expertise, understanding of a programming language such as R or Python, whichever the company might be using, and basic statistics, especially linear regression and hypothesis testing to ensure the probability of confidence levels. And they have to be a rock star communicator. By rock star, it's when they talk, people listen. All right, they're recognized, they've got talent, they're talented, and when they talk, the people will listen to them. And they can't lose focus about business acumen. Remember, we're in business to make money. we can get carried away with programming, we can get carried away with quality and go overboard. It is possible to spend too much money in quality. It's been done on occasion. And notice the first three bullet points again. As I said, they're very strong related to quality, are also skills. And we know skills are something that you have to practice to get proficient. And no one moves into a new job or takes on a new position that's skill related, and they're a leader. They're proficient in it. It takes practice. It develops over time, and that also, while they're developing these skills, they're gaining the tacit knowledge. That's again another supporting case and why I think the data scientist, the abilities for a good data scientist are very similar to those of a skilled quality professional. And when a company decides to take on data science and needs a data scientist, they should look internally and start with their quality professionals and see who's in a position or has interest or the potential to then develop and mature into a high performing data scientist. As I continued to gather information in this area, I'm a 30-year member of ASQ fellow, very active in supporting ASQ. And I came across an article just last year in ASQ published about Quality 4.0. And they dedicated, it was a fairly lengthy article, but they dedicated, I think, about a paragraph, maybe 2 paragraphs, and they mentioned the tools of enabling technologies that are needed to support Quality 4.0. And these are the kind of articles that set me into thinking and stimulate me to move into other areas. And they identified AI, big data, deep learning, machine learning, and data science as enabling technologies, tools of enabling technologies. All right, I'm not quite sure I know what an enabling technology is. I had some trouble with that. So I moved to Wikipedia. I very, very rarely ever use Wikipedia, but in this case I did. And enabling technology is defined as an invention or innovation that can be applied to drive radical change in the capabilities of a user or culture. Enabling technologies are characterized by rapid development of subsequent derivative technologies, often in diverse fields. I personally, okay, that helped me. I could make a case where AI, big data, deep learning, machine learning are derivative technologies. I would agree with that. But I think data science is a far more broad and general field that covers a lot more and more aspects of the concept and the importance in our digital transformation. And I don't see data science as a tool. I see it as an overall, all-encompassing perspective of which these enabling technologies are all subsets. They're the derivative. I know I'm getting very technical of this, but the point being is, as I said in the beginning of my presentation, there are very many diverse perspectives on Quality 4.0, and I thought this was a good example. ASQ is the repository of quality and recognized for guidance. And to me, this is one of those, an example of the types of articles that can be confusing, that can lead to misunderstanding. And we're looking at a very complex field, but I don't. And this is another area where confusion is generated. So I'm just bringing that up. That I think that these first three are derivatives. Data science is a far more general approach that includes these subsets. So the big question, and this is really the purpose of my presentation and where I'm moving on this. Should data science be an extension of the quality department? Should the data scientist report to a quality manager, the same as a quality engineer, the same as the auditor, quality technician, inspector, process analyst? Or should data science become a focused and a functional area of the organization and reside in the IT department? So that brings you up to where I am today. Research is beginning. I'm searching for practical examples to begin a dialogue. Data science is an extension of quality. Data science is an independent organizational function. I have two of my associates right now in my professional network. I interviewed one of them last week, and he said in his company that data science is an extension of quality. And he had to build a really strong case and support it to management, but the CEO, the president of the company, was very focused on quality, and he's relying on quality to do great things to make it happen in his organization. So he was given control of developing a data scientist position and having the data scientist as part of his team with engineers, auditors, and so forth. I had another interview set up, but with just the opposite. In her organization, they have a data scientist who reports to the IT department. I was hoping to interview her and have information to share with you for this event, but unfortunately, she was on travel. Our schedules didn't get together, and I'll be talking to her in the very near future. And any of you that are attending this conference, I'll tell you at the end here, you'll have my contact information. If you'd like to share your thoughts with me on this, I'm very open to gathering additional information so I can move forward on where I'm going to take this research, and then hopefully develop and publish a definitive statement here and get it peer reviewed and recognized. Here's a caution. Early on, it was the digital transformation was just beginning. And I'm going back, almost 10 years ago now. Many organizations developed a digital center for excellence to make this happen. And they included this digital center for excellence in the IT department. And it's almost always developed into a silo where they operated independently, the programmers and the software engineers. And they took guidance from the management of what they needed to do, what needed to be done. But they were very cohesive, but they lost touch with the needs of the business. They took the question at face value, or the problem at face value, and they developed a software program or edited the existing programs to address the situation. Quite often, they really didn't address the problem because they weren't good problem solvers. Not like we in quality, where they dived in and examined the question or the problem in detail before they addressed it. They took it at face value. And as you know, the current QBOC discourages silo organizations where they operate independently of each other. That does not achieve organizational excellence. So those digital centers for excellence have not been very successful. So the next steps, where am I moving from here? Well, research on this topic continues. In March, I already have a focus group set up with a group of most of them are ASQ members, but not all of them. It's a technology group here in the Technology Triangle over in Raleigh, and we're going to have a 2-hour session, and I will have this presentation modified, and we'll have breakout sessions and discussions. I just wrote my third in a series of articles for Quality Digest magazine on this topic here. So those of you that get Quality Digest magazine, you'll see this presentation in a little more detail, sharing the progress I've had to date. I submitted it on Tuesday, and I was notified yesterday the editor and the editorial review board accepted it in planning for publishing. It's speaking of quality, my journey to Quality 4.0. I'm hoping to do other sessions that'll continue as data gathering. Our discussion group will continue. We'll continue to meet on every other Saturday to advance this topic. So I'm planning on continuing this. I'm finding it very interesting. As you can see, I've been around. I got involved in quality. My first job in manufacturing in the 1980s, when right after the initial presentation of Japan can do it, like we can do it, and Deming and Duran, and we came back from Japan, and quality three was a big issue, and so I've seen the transition where it went from manufacturing into organizational excellence, and I'm trying to remain current and on top of it today. So, a summary of my results. The digital transformation journey, it's still unstructured. The feedback I have been getting is that, yeah, companies are engaging in it. They're not planning it. So if they are, they're keeping it at the executive level. They're not sharing it with the people doing the work. These diverse perspectives, no one has come together with at least a semi well-defined body of knowledge of what the concepts are, what the tools are, and it's just open to different perspectives. A data science discussion group will continue to research this journey. I'm going to continue to solicit feedback and comments from Gemba. We all know what Gemba is. That's where the work's getting done. I assume it's most of you that are attending this presentation. You're down in the trenches where this is happening every day, and the feedback from you will really help me to determine where I go with this. I don't know when I will be able to say enough is enough, that this is publish a final article and get it peer reviewed as a statement of fact. But I will continue research, I will continue updates, and I'll continue to share what I've gained, and we in the discussion group here will continue to share our progress to date. So I want to thank you for your time. Here's the information for the data science discussion group. Here's my personal email address. Mike is doing our third presentation. I know he has QR codes for our discussion group and for our LinkedIn. Now, he will have them on his presentation at the end of the day. He's more of an expert with the QRs than I am. I'm still, it's one of the areas I'm still learning about. So more of this will be made available to you as we proceed through the presentation. So there's a list of my references. This presentation is in a PDF format, and it will be made available to you at some point in the future, and Mike will share that with you. So thanks for your time. I think, Mike, I have a couple minutes if there's some questions.
Sure. Sure, Kenneth. Thank you, Milt, for insightful presentation. I'm not sure if you can delete that annotation on the screen. It's maybe it
Yeah,
accidentally happened, kind of. But anyhow, first question is your opinion about LLM in-house and confidentiality, use of artificial intelligence, and issues of confidentiality.
okay. Excuse me, Mike. I'm looking to see if can I delete those annotations. I don't know who put them on there.
Okay, just leave it kind of probably it's going to, if you stop sharing screen and start again, maybe it's going to disappear.
Okay.
Maybe if I try to share screen, let's see if it's going to disappear. Is it disappeared now?
No,
Okay.
it's even on your screen.
Okay. Now we need a help
Well,
from somebody.
I'm not seeing it out here.
Okay.
Your screen's up, Mike, so it must be on Milton's.
Okay, I know there's a way to do that, but I don't know exactly what it is. So,
No problem. No
all right,
problem.
let me answer your question. After I answer the questions, I'll get my. I know there's a way to do it. I just don't remember exactly how to do it.
No
But,
problem. So
uh,
question is really kind of a issue of confidentiality in quality for arena and artificial intelligence. How to use that? Can we use open source? And what's your opinion about that?
Uh, my opinion is I'm concerned. I am concerned. There really is no good method in place other than having someone as a watchdog overseer that continually monitors all these with postings and the information that's published and made available, and which is almost impossible to do. At this point, the only methods we have right now is relying on people to be ethical, to follow the good ethical practices and principles. The opportunities to do unethical things, unfortunately, with this artificial intelligence, the controls aren't there yet. And it's a challenge. I know that it's a major challenge at this point. I, I can't say anything else other than I am really concerned, and I'm relying on at least the quality people to be ethical and to check this work and to provide guidance to people to give to what they should be posting, what they shouldn't be posting, and that what they have to say is really backed by facts and credible. So yeah, that's a very troublesome area.
And the second question is regarding return on investment related to Quality 4. What do you think about that?
The return on investment, yes. Well, there's always a return on investment. The problem is that management doesn't sit down with quality and identify a quantitative value of what we're looking to do and establish a baseline of what we're going to measure so that we can see what we're investing in Quality 4.0 in the way of quality assurance or quality control activities and where we are now and what we intend to see in the future and establishing a time frame. Quality management systems, unfortunately, are very rarely ever quantified. Other than if you see it's going to cost us X amount of dollars or whatever to become ISO certified to get our certificate, that's all they ever see. They don't go in and break it down into a lot of detail. I don't think the financial people really have a good understanding of it to be able to sit down with a quality person and develop a budget, as I said, and a guideline and a basis where we can quantify the return. There are a lot of intangibles as well, intangible return on investment. And again, they're all different. When I say intangibles, it can be employee turnover. It could also be absenteeism or possibly careless injuries that are because people aren't paying attention. There's a lot of them out there, and they could all be drawn in and evaluated and established as metrics for measuring a return on investment and quality. But it doesn't happen. As I told you, the business world, we're looking at the bottom line numbers, and and I know from my personal experience, so departments that have implemented quality improvement activities, the managers just looking at how much did productivity increase, or how much did the labor hours, the amount of hours drop, or what's the profitability, and that's all they're looking at. That's all they're concerned with, and the other factors are overlooked. So yeah, it's a problem area, and I'll tell you this: it's something that I've been trying to. As some of you may know, I chair a Master of Science program at California State University, and this is something we try to convey to all our master students in graduating to get management aware of the costs and return on investment and quality. And it's not made a lot of progress in the last 15 years. I'll put it that way. All right, we're making very little progress in changing that traditional financial business model. So all we can do is continue to make our case and get their attention so that they'll embrace moving forward with Quality 4.0 and these other activities that really can contribute to a world-class organization.
Thank you, Milt. Any other questions? If you have, we'll send you email with confirmation of your ASQ recertification units, and you will have a zero point 0.3 recertification units. You can use for any other recertification purposes that letter, which will state 3 hours of training that you receive or attendance of the conference. This is very important topic, which is related to business acumen, and we as a quality professional should connect that with the cost of quality. And I'll be touching base in my presentation a little bit about the digital transformation cost of quality, which is to give you flavor. It's very important that you indicate what's the benefit of any activity that you do, regardless if it's a living
Yeah, I
QS
think
8000 or any other activity. And well, Milt, thank you for a great presentation. I would ask maybe Ted now to start with the second presentation, which is a Boeing 777 MAX crash and grounding case study.